Hi everyone, welcome back, and if this is your first time, welcome. My name is Max Haddad. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Oh, graffiti, glitter, explosions. Happy New Year. It's 2021. We're finally done with 2020. I'll be honest, I didn't feel how awful 2020 was until about the last week, and I finally started to agree with everyone. I was just ready for it to be the next year. So hopefully things will be much closer to normal as time goes on. So this video is going to be about 10 or so unspoken rules of prison. Things are weird in prison. There are a lot of assumptions that you have to make, and it's not safe. The repercussions in normal life are maybe some social awkwardness if you mess up, a slight reprimand from your parents or your boss or whatever. In prison, it's a beating in the bathroom off camera. It's getting all your stuff taken. It's being sent to a different dorm and then being labeled a check-in, and nobody's ever going to spend time with you ever again. It's awful. So the sooner that you can learn these rules, the better you will do. But nobody is going to tell you what they are, except for me. That's why they're unspoken. But while you're in prison, nobody's going to tell you. You got to figure them out for yourself. So rule number one is when you're making a phone call, you get about 15 minutes. That's how it was at my prison. That's how it is at a lot of prisons. You pay a fee, an initial charge, and then a charge for every minute that you're on the phone. After you make your 15-minute phone call, you cannot make another phone call until everyone in the line behind you has made their phone call. People are going to start yelling at you. People are going to pull you off the phone sometimes. People are going to beat you while your poor, sweet mom or whatever girlfriend's on the phone hearing it happen. It's rude. It's not okay. All right. People are waiting all day to make these phone calls. They're waiting for their loved ones to get off, work, waiting for their kids to get out of school, whatever it is, to make their one call. Maybe their one call to the only people that are still going to take their call, that kind of thing. And the fact that you're sitting there on the phone, you've got enough money for a bunch of phone calls. You're going to talk to one person. Oh, but I've got these other people I want to talk to. And then you're calling somebody like, hey, check my Facebook. That happens. People ask people to check their Facebook. It's like, what are your priorities? It's crazy, right? But nobody wants to see you up there making 100 phone calls while they're anxiously, twiddling their thumbs, waiting to just talk to their mom. Maybe they're calling their mom on her birthday. Maybe they are going to talk to their brother for the first time in 8 years. They don't have time for you to call everybody in your social group because you can't stand being in prison. And a sub rule as part of rule number one is don't be on the phone all the time anyways. It's going to make your time in prison, your bit, go much slower because you're going to be thinking about the outside world. The quicker that you can get in the mindset that what's going on around me is my world, the better. It's I've said it before, it's like running a race. I had to ask my parents to stop visiting. They got it. They totally understood because every time that they would visit, I felt like I was stepping to the side of the race and standing still to talk to them. And I just wanted to finish the race. So that's rule number one. Be respectful of your phone time. You can't make a second call until everybody behind you has made theirs. Rule number two, don't call someone out unless you're willing to fight. Now, what do I mean by call somebody out? It means calling them the B word. It means saying, I'll beat your ASS. Like, it means threatening somebody. It means yelling at somebody in front of other people at all. It means putting somebody in the hot seat. There's all sorts of things that you have to be careful about not doing this. You guys know when you're whatever, hackles are up and you're angry and you're wanting to yell at somebody. If you act in that moment, if that person sees you do that to them, especially if it's around other people, you have to be ready to fight. And don't do that. Don't act like that in front of anybody if you're not ready to fight. Because people in prison, men, women, doesn't matter which prison, doesn't matter which sex, are full of stress and tension constantly, and they're looking for releases for that tension. There's so much testosterone, cortisone, all the cortisol, all the crazy hormones, estrogen, hey, going through your system. You're ready to Fight or flight, you're ready to run and you're ready to fight. And in prison, there's nowhere to run, so you're ready to fight. If somebody yells at you, you're going to pop them in the chin. That's just how it is. And I'm not even somebody that's violent, and it would happen to me. I don't like to fight people, but you are just ready. You're an animal backed into a corner, and when somebody screams at you, they might as well be saying, you can't run. The only way you're going to survive this encounter is if you hit me. So you either need to check yourself before you get in a conflict with somebody, because that person is probably going to want to hit you, or you need to be ready to go into the bathroom off camera and fight. That's just the way that it is in prison. It's crazy. It doesn't make sense. It's not a fun place to be, but them's the breaks, as they say. That's just how prison is. Rule number 3, be ready to get backstabbed. Be ready to get ripped off. And I don't mean by some stranger. I mean by people you care about. So 2 reasons. 1, the people you love in there, the people you get along with are criminals, are drug addicts, are drug dealers, are people that have been homeless forever. They're used to doing what they need to do, cutting people out of their life to get food, to get money, to get drugs, to get what they want and what they need. That's just part of it. And it's not like I wasn't there because I didn't have bad habits. I wasn't sitting there judging everybody for how awful they were. I was there for a reason too, but we're all there because we do things wrong or we do bad things. So don't be surprised when this person who you formed a relationship with does something wrong to you. They've done way worse things to people that they loved a lot more than you, and that might even be why they're in prison. You basically need to prepare for every person around you to rip you off or backstab you, throw you under the bus to make themselves look better, get themselves out of trouble, blame something on you. You might get lucky. I got lucky. You might have a couple people who you can be certain won't do that to you, won't rip you off, won't stab you in the back to make themselves look better, whatever it is. You might get that, okay? I saw gang members whose other brothers screwed them over, right? And that's something where the end result is somebody's getting beat up bad, maybe killed, but they're still doing it because we're just wired that way, especially in that environment where you don't want to be on the bottom rung. People are willing to do things they shouldn't be willing to do. The only way that I knew I had those people in my life, those couple guys who I could trust no matter what, is because of time. Is because I was, we were kindred spirits. We were basically the same person. And over a long period of time, we proved to each other there were some opportunities that one of us could have benefited and the other one would have gotten hurt. And it was, we didn't take those opportunities. So it takes time. It's not something that, you had one chess game with a guy and you guys are laughing and having a great time and now you can trust him. Now he's got your back no matter what. That's just not how it goes. People have to look out for themselves first, really, in general, in regular life. This is regular life, by the way, when I look around in prison, especially because nobody else is going to look out for them, even if they're affiliated, even if they've got a lot of friends. Nobody's going to look out for them. Rule number 4, if you aren't affiliated, and I mean with a gang members, even if you get along with them, can't stand up for you if you have beef with somebody in a gang, right? Now, the reason is if, let's say, here's gang A and gang B. I get into it with gang B. I lent them some money or they lent me some money and I didn't pay it back, right? So now gang B is after me. And I'm good friends with gang A, right? All the members in my dorm really like me. We pal around. We have a good time together. They don't want to go to war with gang B for somebody, myself, who's a neutral, not affiliated, hasn't said my life for the gang. They're not willing to take that risk for somebody who is not willing to take risks for them. Because if they're in a battle with a different gang, I'm not going to go fight with them. That's crazy. So they know how it works. They get it. They can't do that for me. I even had people tell me this. So I guess it's only a half unspoken rule, but there were some members of a different affiliation telling me one thing, like, hey, we're not real happy with you. And these people over here were saying, Max, we love you, but if we can't really do anything about that. Now, if somebody's unaffiliated, they might be able to help you, but they still have to really, really like you to jump in. It's just not something they want to risk. They don't want to risk a huge conflict that could get tons of people hurt. Not just their gang, but their gang, other people. They don't want to get 15 people hurt when it could be settled between two guys, even if one of those guys has to get hurt real bad, whatever it is. So it's another one of those crazy political things in prison. It's not like we're friends, you've got my back. There's layers to it. It's complicated. You know, you have to pick a side, and if you pick the wrong side, you might not have any allies when a fight breaks out. Fifth unspoken rule of prison is don't talk to the COs. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes they're going to ask you something, and you might, what's your name? You've got to visit. Are you this? Yeah, I'm Max Haddad. It's okay. But don't go up to the CO's desk and start having a conversation. Now, on the street, of course, I don't hate the police. I really don't. There are some cops I don't like and some cops I do like. I'm not anti-police though. I don't go around, like flicking them off. It's just not how I am. There was a period of my life when I didn't like any of them. Not there anymore, but it took some time. But if you are in prison and you're going and you're hanging out with the police, doesn't matter if it's the sergeant or just, whatever, just a regular old CO, even if it's one of the lunch ladies, don't hang out with the employees of the prison. People are going to think you're up to something. They're going to think you're a snitch. They're going to think you're talking. Even if you're not doing it on purpose, they're going to think that you're going to say something on accident that's going to get them in trouble. It's going to make you look weak. You can't go hang out with the COs, ask them how their kids are doing. It's not a good idea. Even if it's a CO that you see all the time, that's friendly, that's respectful, it's not a good idea to go hang out with them. People are going to give you the side eye. They don't trust people that hang out with cops. Guess why? Because they've been against cops their whole life. Cops are the reason that they're in prison. Cops are the reason that they're losing 10 years with their kids. The real reason is they were committing crimes and crimes were illegal. But that's not how most people think about it when they're in prison. They think the man put me here, not myself. Most people in prison are not ready to get over the problems that sent them to prison, right? But you can't convince them of that. Oh, he's a good guy. You should come talk to this cop with me. No, no, they're going to look at you like you're crazy. Worse than that, like I said, they're going to look at you like you're weak. And if you're weak in prison, you're getting your stuff taken, you're getting beat up, and you're getting shipped out. That's just how it goes. So the sixth unspoken rule of prison is if you have to cry, don't do it in public. Now, this is something that you probably aren't going to have to. It's not going to take much for you to figure this out. Prison is not a safe place to be anything other than happy or angry. Those are your choices. If you're sad, take it somewhere else. It's not uncommon for guys to get a really bad phone call. Somebody died, somebody cheated on them, somebody left them and has taken the kids, whatever it is, and to go take a shower. And for some reason, they took a 45-minute shower, an hour and a half shower. We know what's happening. And I say we, I mean all of us, we get it. We know what's going on and we try to respect each other's space, but we're already going through it. Right? We're going through it because we're in prison, because we had some bad phone calls. Stuff's not going great for us or we wouldn't be here. And so the more people around you that are crying, it's going to make you feel worse. You don't want to see that. Honestly, it's selfish. Now, if you're close with people, you might be able to have a conversation about it, whatever it is. Hopefully you can, because prison's a tough place to have nobody. And most people in there have nobody. Really, at the end of the day, they don't have anyone. But if you're going to cry, don't do it on the edge of your bed. Don't cover your face and sob. Don't try to hide it in public. Go take a shower. That's it. That's it. Fake like you're sick. Go to the doctor, something. I wouldn't recommend that because then people are going to think you're trying to check in or snitch on somebody. But go take a shower, whatever it is. Or stuff it. Save it for later. That's what I did. I got a lot of, I had like 2, 3, I think, of my pets die while I was in prison. I know worse things could happen, but I love my pets. I've grown up with dogs and cats my whole life. These are my best friends. And a bunch of them died while I was in prison, and I couldn't mourn them. I couldn't grieve them. I still haven't probably fully done it. There's no time, no space to do it. I didn't feel comfortable going into the shower, sitting there naked, crying. I just didn't. I felt like if I let my guard down at all, something bad's going to happen to me. But not safe in prison to cry in public. Seventh unspoken rule of prison is don't let your girl affect you. I'm talking about your girlfriend. Now, if you're a girl in prison, don't let your boyfriend affect you. If you're a lesbian, don't let your girlfriend affect you. If you're gay, don't let your boyfriend, whatever. Don't let your significant other affect you. And by that, I mean, you get a bad letter. Don't let it get you down. It's obviously going to get you down. You're going to feel crappy, but you can't show it. Don't walk around the dorm moping, because once again, you're going to look weak. You're going to bring people down. People don't want to be brought down by you because you haven't figured out how to shove that, suppress that. It's unhealthy for sure. You have to get your mind into this tiny, confined space that's been provided for you, provided you've been shipped there. You have to get your head in that space. Anything that exists outside of that space might as well be fiction in a book. It might as well be your imagination, because it is not going to be able to help you if something goes wrong. Really, all it can do is hurt you. It is tough. It is tough to feel inspired, motivated, and loved thinking about the people you care about on the outside. I would love to sit here and say something poetic about how I took inspiration and strength from my mother's love, thinking of my girlfriend's warm embrace. Not the case. That stuff hurts. It hurts. You cannot let your loved ones, especially your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, bring you down. Now, I was in a situation where the girl I was dating did not handle me going to prison very well. Why would she? It's tough. It had to be super hard on her. I get that. Now, at the time, I was pretty upset, but every time I called her, it was about how tough her day was. That was upsetting because I felt like, I understand you had a hard day at work. I had a hard day at prison. Can we talk about me for a little bit? But that was just not the case. She wasn't in a good position to be supportive for me, and I wasn't in a good position to be supportive for her. That's just the way it worked out. It wasn't her fault. It wasn't my fault. It just was what it was. If anything, it's my fault because I went to prison, but it was what it was. And I let it hurt my feelings. And I pretty quickly had to learn that if she's hurting your feelings when you call her, don't call her. If your feelings are hurt because of her, forget it. Suppress it. Shove it down. You have to focus on what's going on around you. You could be in danger from this corner of the room. This guy over here thinks you owe him money and you've never met him in your life, right? You haven't slept in 3 days because every time you shut your eyes, people start screaming about what's on the TV or what did Jerry Springer say this time? You know, like it's bad. You have to take care of what is vital. And what is vital when you're in prison is the space around you. You got to eat, sleep, and drink water. And other than that, stay safe. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. It's crazy. It is so counterintuitive. You'd think about your loved ones, feel better, you'll be back with them soon. It's the opposite. Get them out of your head. Tell them, Mom, I love you so much. Girl, I love you so much. I don't call my girlfriends girl. Typically they have names. Love you so much. Dad, love you. I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll give you a call in a week, whatever it is. And then focus. Put the blinders on and focus on your environment. Eighth unspoken rule in prison is be clean. Don't stink. Now, if somebody's telling you clean up your stuff, you stank, and when you get to prison, when you're in prison, it's already too late. You've already been labeled as the dude that doesn't shower, the guy that doesn't brush his teeth, the girl that doesn't put on enough deodorant. There are a lot of sweaty, warm, gross bodies in jumpsuits, convection ovens turned into clothes with gas and it spews out of the buttons. It's awful, okay? It stinks. It is exponentially worse if somebody decided that I'll just shower every third day. I don't need to brush my teeth. I don't have a visit today. My mouth can stink. It's gross. And everybody knows that, right? Even people that probably didn't have good hygiene on the street didn't have to sleep next to complete strangers. So if that stranger isn't brushing his teeth, now they realize it's important because that stinks. You have to stay clean in prison. If you don't, there's a good chance, maybe you get one warning After that, people are going to kick you out of the dorm you're in. They're going to kick you out of the block that you're in. If you're a cellie with somebody, if you're in that kind of prison and you stink, whew, it's going to be rough for you. If you're lucky and your cellie is weak and he's not going to say something to you, somebody else is going to. If you're 23 and 1, meaning you're 23 hours in your cell, 1 hour in the day room, in that 1 hour, somebody's going to tell you that you stink. Clean your stuff up. I don't want to smell you. We can smell you through the walls. You're going to hear about it. If you're lucky, you're going to hear about it. If not, something worse is going to happen. I was pretty grateful for this. I was pretty grateful that there were people, walking around enforcing, like, did you brush your teeth? I mean, it wasn't exactly like that, but it was nice to know that if these dudes don't put on deodorant, if they're not showering regularly, if they're not washing their hands with soap, somebody's going to talk to them about it. I'm not going to have to run around like wondering which surface did I touch. Am I going to get, sepsis or a staph infection? That people are staying clean because now it's a matter of personal safety, not just personal respect. Second to last rule that nobody's going to tell you in prison, you just got to figure it out, is don't talk about religion or politics. Now, you guys have probably heard this on the outside, like it's basically just good general procedure to not talk to your coworkers about politics, to talk about whatever, religion with a stranger, because who knows what somebody else believes. There's a good chance they don't believe like you believe. And if you're really angry at one religion, or you think that this political party is garbage and stupid, and they feel the complete opposite way, you're about to get into a screaming argument with some gas station attendant or your boss. How awkward is that? But if you do it in prison, you're about to get beat up. You're about to get your stuff taken. You're about to get sent to a different dorm, sent to protective custody and labeled, a bitch. People are going to think that you're pathetic if you get beat up like that. It's just stupid. If you see somebody getting into a political discussion in prison, you might as well set your stopwatch. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, you get to 1, there's going to be a fight. It is so predictable. You know that people are going to be fighting when they start talking about religion and politics. Now, it's not uncommon in prison for people to practice Islam. We hear about Islam all the time in America. I don't personally have a problem with it, but some people do. Now, in prison, a lot of times people find faith. Cool, whatever. And Islam is not something that we typically interact with, right, day to day. But they have certain times of the day that they need to pray. They set down their mat. They have their hat on. I don't know a lot about it. They pray in a certain direction. Cool, do it. There are spaces allotted for Muslims to pray in prisons. Now, if you're walking through that space disrespectfully, they're going to have an issue with you. It doesn't matter if you think that people affiliate and then they leave their gang, and instead of getting beat up for leaving it, they join the Muslim faith and they say, I'm sorry, brothers, I can't fight anymore. I'm a Muslim, because that's why they do it a lot of times. But some of them are devout, okay? And if you're walking through their prayer space, they're going to be upset about it, right? And it makes sense. Now, even if you're a militant atheist and you think that any faith, any religion is disgusting and stupid and the wool's been pulled over your eyes, and I'm going to walk through that Muslim's prayer space, you're going to have to think about that again, because you gave away the privilege to think freely and do whatever you wanted when you got arrested and sentenced to prison, because now you're surrounded by a bunch of dudes that are going to check you in a serious way if you walk disrespectfully through somebody's prayer space. Or you see a group of Christians holding hands doing a Bible reading at night, and you shout while they're doing it right in the middle of them. Go yell somewhere else, whatever it is. If you see a Buddhist meditating, and you go up and you ask him for coffee while he's clearly, in his own space, like, people are going to get real upset. It doesn't matter how much their faith has to do with being nice to other people. They're going to be mean to you. Don't talk about religion and don't talk about politics, especially if you're in prison. Number 10, we did it. The last unspoken prison rule, not the last, but the last one I'm going to talk about today, is mind your business. Now, we basically talked about that in the last one, but I want to be a little bit more general and a little bit more specific. So mind your business when it comes to affiliations. If you're not in a gang, or if you're in a gang and not in their gang, there is no reason you need to be creeping up or even nearby when they're clearly having a discussion that has to do with their organization. They're going to think that you're purposefully doing it. They're going to think it's mega disrespectful, and there is a good chance that you're going to be labeled after that. You're going to have a bullseye on the back of your head, and that is a scary place to be in. I was lucky and I was respectful and I never had to deal with that, but I watched people get targeted because they weren't careful about what they heard. In prison, you have to be careful about what you say, but you have to be doubly careful about what you hear because that is private information, okay? And it's obvious when people are getting together discussing business, okay? You can see them from across the room. There's 4 or 5 guys that you know are in the same organization. You don't need to walk over there and ask how their day's going. Give them space. There's even times when they'll hold tribunals in the bathroom, I know, and there'll be a couple guards, I say guards, not CEOs, the muscle of the organization standing outside the bathroom. Literally, you can't use the bathroom right now. You try to go in, I just need to take a piss. No, you can't. You can't use this one. Go to the other side. Oh, well, somebody's working out and they're fighting in that one. Well, then you're going to have to hold it because right now you're not coming in. That's how important it is for some of these organizations to have privacy, okay? Whether they're doing an election or they're settling a beef between 2 different gangs, those are important moments. And they're important for you too, because if people are trying to discuss something and settle something without fighting, not only is that going to prevent them from getting hurt, it might prevent you from getting hurt. That's a dangerous place to be in. A closed space with 10, 20 guys on each side fighting each other, trying to kill each other, there's definitely crossfire. There was this guy who, I mentioned him before, broke a broom and he's swinging it around. It was this improvised wooden spear, and he wasn't going to care if he hit somebody that wasn't involved in the fight he was in. Stuff was crazy. People swing around locks off their boxes. They're throwing around acid from like heated up baby lotion. All sorts of crazy stuff happens. And the less it happens, the safer you are. So give these people privacy. Mind your business so you don't get labeled. Prison is a scary place to be. The only thing that you need to worry about is, did I eat today? Did I sleep? Have I called my loved ones this week? Right? Let me see what's on TV. That's it. Let me read a book. Let me play some chess with my friends. You don't need to worry about what A, B, and C are doing with their free time and their private time. It's not your business. So if you can follow these 10 unspoken prison rules, there's a much better chance that you'll be safe in prison. It's still a scary place, but it's something you could do. I got out safe, scot-free, and I wasn't one of the lucky ones, but there are some unlucky ones that don't follow these rules and they get hurt. That's just the way that it is. It's scary. It is. You guys have a good day. Happy New Year again, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.